English medieval wall paintings are important because they tell you a lot about the pattern of loss. These buildings were traumatised after the Middle Ages by the Reformation, by Civil War. The wall paintings often survive in a very fragmentary way, and that can be illusory because it creates the impression that these buildings weren't once upon a time very richly decorated. I mean, a little church like Little Wenham is a sign that something was going on in this building, which showed medieval parishioners, how to know God. Wall paintings are part of a kind of common culture to all classes. If it's an image of a very important person, like behind me, the Virgin Mary, one of the most important people to medieval life, because the saints are real, the saints are among us. You revere the person. The theory is you revere the person who is represented in the image, you don't revere the image. The wall paintings were, on the whole, very big, they were very frank, they had to work quickly, they're a bit like posters, you have to take their meaning in immediately, they can't be too fiddly. Their purpose is partly to educate. And so they tell us a great deal about what you might call the hanging of images in space in the Middle Ages. These are the only spaces we have left. We don't have very many castles with paintings. We don't have very many palaces or houses with paintings. But we do have cathedrals, and we do have above all parish churches in their hundreds with wall paintings, which tell us a lot about where you put a favourite saint, why that is thought important rather than this. You can tell a lot about the social history of England and the social history of images from these amazing buildings. Often, if you compare them with what's going on in Europe, the wall paintings aren't as grand. If you want really spectacular cinema, you go to Italy, you go to Assisi, you go to Florence. English wall paintings have never survived like that. They weren't made to such a big scale. The buildings didn't accommodate them in the same way. But the fact of the matter is that it's only through the wall paintings that you get some sense of the way that images functioned in the social environment that people lived and prayed in. I think the second thing about relating to the paintings is that you learn from them. When they are stories, as you see in other parish churches throughout England, stories from the Passion of Christ or the Gospels, particularly the lives of the saints, that sort of thing, they're there to educate. And that is a very basic programme of art that was adopted early on from the time of Pope Gregory the Great, when England was first converted. Don't destroy images, said Gregory the Great. Keep them there, because we learn from images things that we can't learn from text. It's the first thing you do when you think about a wall painting is, well, what's its context? What's the date of the wall it's on? What are the dates of the window treatment? I mean, we can tell at Little Wenham, what the date of the chancel is, beautifully decorated from the style of the windows. It's about 1300, 1290, 1300. I've done this a lot. It works. Simple dating from style is the most reliable way. The human eye is the most powerful tool. And the second thing you do is you have to look at the wall painting and judge the way it's drawn, the way the architecture look, the way the figures look, the way the border patterns look. All those things get thrown into it. And you compare it to illuminated manuscripts and stained glass and sculpture. In other words, you put the wall painting to date it, not just in the physical context, but in the kind of art historical context. Wall paintings are a very fragile medium. They don't survive easily. They're easily damaged. They're often not in a very good state of repair. The fact of the matter is that they can only survive, and will only survive, if people know about them and look after them. And that's where organisation helps. You need expert advice, expert work. And bodies like the Church's Conservation Trust are very important in not only educating people, but actually in securing the future of buildings like Little Wenham, or Little Witchingham, or Broughton, or Inglesham, which all have fantastic paintings. They're all amazing sites, they're all very well worth visiting, but it is very, very important to remember that in the future, somebody has got to look after these buildings.